dismissive, smug, condescending,
snarky,
arrogant, snarky.
What?
His position was anybody that knows me knows that I don't hate black people. I'm not a racist. People were trying to tell him we all don't know you.
Right.
What happens when your past comes back to haunt you in the worst way possible? For Rory, a former co-host of the Joe Budden podcast, a simple opinion about the Grammy spiraled into a full-blown cancellation after old, problematic tweets resurfaced. But here's the real story. It wasn't just the tweets. It was a masterclass in how not to handle a public firestorm. Today, we're breaking down the 3 critical mistakes that turned a controversy into a catastrophe. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, Rory's defensive and dismissive posture. When those tweets from as early as 2010 surfaced, tweets targeting black people and even Beyonce, his initial response was to get on Twitter Spaces and argue for hours. He entered a digital lion's den filled with Kendrick Lamar fans, many of whom were already hostile. His tone? Smug, condescending. He led with, "Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a racist," a statement that immediately falls flat when the entire internet is, by definition, people who don't know you. Instead of listening, he argued, which only poured gasoline on the fire.
Lyric that they thought he was saying. So,
Mark, you doing like a word salad right now.
So there was a whole. She asked me what the tweet said. So there was a bunch of tweets. Some of them were offensive to celebrities. Some were seen as anti-black women, etc. That's what happened. And then the other piece of it was he defended himself. He went on Spaces to explain his position and had a very long 4.5 hour
and put on an absolute masterclass in how you should not defend yourself.
Yeah.
4.5 hours is way too long.
An absolute, boy, that was...
You said in how you should not.
Should not.
It is a way to do that. It really is. It's a science to it. And apologizing. People don't know how to do it, though.
So I think that what he did right. So then, the fourth step was finally he went on his show and offered an apology, particularly for the dismissiveness with which he had dealt with the opening part of that conversation. In the Spaces.
In the Spaces. Dismissive, smug, condescending,
snarky,
arrogant, snarky.
What?
His position was anybody that knows me knows that I don't hate black people. I'm not a racist. Yada yada yada. People were trying to tell him we all don't know you.
Right.
This is how these tweets come off. A lot of the tweets were a lot worse than the "looking in my rim" rap lyric part that Mark
I want to
mentioned.
know the worst.
I wouldn't read them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable.
I wouldn't even read them, but they were pretty bad. So I think people were just trying to hold him accountable and get him to at least acknowledge that in them resurfacing, there are people that weren't around back then that are hurt, that feel a way, that listen to you, that follow you, that look up to you, yada yada yada. All of the
But
bells
even
and
the
whistles.
people that do know you, they still be hurt about it. Even if they people get hurt by stuff like that, especially when they support you.
I think some people gave him grace because they know him. Like, I know he's not racist, so I'm going to look at the tweet differently than somebody
Like
who
I
doesn't.
can't know a white boy enough that he can't say nigger. I don't care.
And he didn't.
Oh, well,
And
I'm
he
just
didn't.
saying. I use it as an example.
Yeah. I just want to be clear
I
for
can't
the
know a white
audience.
person enough that they can do racist shit or whatever.
Yeah, I thought some of the more tweets I saw, the more I was like, yeah, that's even if I'm being generous, that's too much, right? And I think that he will likely address that. It got big. The story got bigger than I thought it would be when I saw it on TMZ.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, when I saw it on TMZ, I was like, ooh. And
CMZ ball a lot. It grew legs.
Yeah.
It grew legs rather quickly.
yeah,
It did.
yeah. And mentioning Beyonce doesn't ever stop things from growing legs.
Yeah.
So that's its own.
He mentioned Beyonce.
Yeah, the Beyonce tweet. Yeah, Rory's getting his shit off.
Yeah.
Rory's getting his shit off.
Yeah, 2011 was a different time.
Y'all agree that Twitter was like a whole nother place back
It
then?
was.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
It was. I
It
wasn't
was.
doing it. Oh, go
That
ahead.
just doesn't excuse anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It was. I was there for it. I participated. It just doesn't excuse anything. If the tweets ever come up, which, number one, I'm confused how people that have some stuff going on are not doing a forensic cleanse
I got
on across their
8,000
social media.
followers and deleted everything.
Well, you know, some people use there's devices and tools you can use to find stuff even after you delete it.
Yeah. But that's different. I feel like you making an effort to delete it that changes the narrative.
But I'm just wondering if I don't even know if this stuff was still
any step you can implement to make those tweets harder to come across
sure.
for the casual, you should take those. You should take those steps.
I'm just wondering. I was wondering if he deleted his and they found him anyway. That's all I'm wondering. I don't know.
No.
Oh no, they just sitting there.
I don't think so.
Okay, got you.
I haven't asked him that, but
Got you. Yeah.
in 2011, them tweets were so bad they start kicking my back in. Hey, them tweets were so bad. This motherfucker Joe Budden brought him into the coach. I was like, I didn't know this nigga in 2011. I had no idea who he was in 2011.
Yeah.
But do I think Rory's racist? No,
Of course not.
No.
Yeah,
Do I think that there must always there's just law to how white people have to listen to black people in black spaces, I feel.
Period.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
If you hurt someone with your words, and when the words are of a certain, context, I don't think it's your right to be smug in that instance. And I think he acknowledged that.
He did. I think when it first happened, because there was a couple moving parts. One was some of the things they said he did was like a fake tweet that somebody had made, and so he was responding to that. The other thing was, I think he thought he was in a room full of weirdo Kendrick stans who were just attacking him and being unreasonable. And then, to your point, the people who came, the room was filled with crazy people, sane people, people who didn't know what was going on. So it was like the Kendrick person was a person like you who's like, yo, what the fuck just happened? I don't know. Then those people who were just hurt and want to answer. And I think, if some of y'all don't know how Spaces works, it might be, there wasn't equal representation on the stage at first. So I think part of it was he was responding to a certain kind of person. And I think that contributed to the dismissiveness. It still was dismissive, but I think that contributed to it. And then as it got bigger, sometimes you get in a situation, you dig your heels in and you just double down on the shit you're already doing. And I think that's what happened, and it just got worse. But you absolutely should not defend yourself in that way. Especially when you got a platform. I want him to just step out the room and think about it, and then.
That's the thing, the platform part, and this is the thing with when you. That happened to me years ago, and they was like ripping me apart at first. So sometimes you responded to the insult you got. Like you walking in that room, but you still remember somebody calling you a small head bitch.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
So you coming at people because they was talking about your sneaks and your head size and all that. But in actuality, in my opinion, Rory is somebody that's usually in black spaces since he started, right? It's like he's in black stuff, correct? Mm-hmm. So if you're white and you benefit off of shit like that, you have to be super vigilant about what you say and do. That's my personal opinion, especially if you're making money off the niggas. I shouldn't be able to find you saying no crazy shit that I would be offended about, period. Me, I got 8,000 followers and went backwards and deleted stuff. Like it's a thought process. You get to a point where you take that extra effort. Also, I think the average person doesn't know how to apologize, and I get that. But when you have a platform, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to figure it out. I literally Google how to apologize because there's really ways not to do it. Like a lot of people fuck up when they apologize because they'll say something that sounds like an excuse or close to it. You just focus on yourself. You just be accountable for what you did and you apologize. You don't bring up nothing else in the story. And most people don't know how to do that.
Spaces was also just not the place to do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially when I think someone said there was a 4 hours.
Which leads to mistake number 2, choosing the wrong battlefield. Twitter Spaces is a chaotic, unmoderated arena. It's not a courtroom for a fair trial. It's a gladiator pit. The conversation immediately went left, with users hurling insults and even threats like, "I'ma see you, I'ma fly out there." As Ish from the podcast rightly pointed out, you don't have to show up to every argument you're invited to. By engaging there, Rory invited lines of questioning that were more accusatory than inquisitive, blending legitimate criticism with pure trolling and making any real accountability impossible. Mistake number 3 was the uneven response from his own circle. The Joe Budden podcast reaction was a mixed bag. Joe himself rightfully called Rory out for being arrogant and handling the situation poorly. But interestingly, he also definitively stated he knows Rory isn't a racist. Meanwhile, Mark Lamont Hill provided context about old Twitter, a Wild West where people typed RT to retweet the most outrageous stuff.
Right? So back in the day on old school Twitter, there was no retweet button. You typed RT and then wrote what the other person said. So sometimes people were interpreting him as saying something that he actually didn't say. He was retweeting somebody else.
And Ice, who has faced similar cancellation attempts, stayed relatively quiet. This created a dynamic where Rory was being held accountable but also protected, leading to a public perception that the apology wasn't fully sincere. So, what's the bottom line? The root of this was undeniably the old harmful tweets. But Rory's 3 mistakes, the dismissive defense, the chaotic Twitter Spaces appearance, and the inconsistent messaging from his allies are what took this from a manageable scandal to a headline on TMZ. The lesson is clear. In the digital age, your past is always on trial, and when it shows up, your strategy can't be to fight everyone in the comments. You need a clear, contrite, and controlled response. Rory's failure to do that is the real story behind the cancellation. So what do you think? Was this a genuine cancellation or a selective one engineered by Stans? And what's the right way to apologize for old tweets? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real discussion. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the culture. Stay tuned.